All right, how about a question number 6? To do this by hand, how do I do it? Oh my goodness, this brings back memories. You don't understand. This is great memories. So 5, -4, -2, 14. There's the first equation. That's just an equation, right? Just a representation of an equation. 1, -2, and it's assuming that we all agree that it's going to go x, y, z constant. X, y, and z, and constant. And there it is. There's your equation. It's all in a matrix. Now you can manipulate all you want. Now remember what our goal is here. Our goal is to get ones on the diagonal. At the same time, we're going to try to get zeros underneath. And then lastly, we will try to do the green section. So it's kind of like you do yellow and blue, and then you kind of do, yellow and blue, and then later on you go back and do green. So let's get it started. Now I'm going to do it like I did back when I was a kid. Right? We just had one matrix. We just manipulated it and hope we didn't make a mistake, because if you did, then life wasn't too good. But like the first step is I want a 1 where that yellow 5 is. And I could divide everybody by 5, but you see it's going to bring in a bunch of fractions, and I'm not too excited about that if I don't have to. Notice equation 2 had a 1 right off the bat. So why don't we just swap equations 2, and that's a really weird arrow. Why don't we just swap equation 2 and equation 1? That doesn't hurt the problem any. So that's called swapping 2 rows. So I'm going to swap row 2. I was going to go into row 1 spot. And then row 1 is going to go here. And row 2 can go here, or row 3 can stay where it was. It's not affected by anything. So is that good? Notice what I did was I got a 1 in the first spot. Yay! So it's like, check, right? Okay. Now the easiest thing to do is start the blues. Hit the 5 and the 4, turn them into zeros. So do one at a time. And the way I'm going to do that is this is a 5. So if I multiply this by -5 and add it to that row, it will get rid of it, right? So let's do that. So -5 and 5 is 0. And how about 10 and -4 is 6? And how about -10 and -2 is -12? And last but not least, -10 and 14 is... No, wait, that's +10 and 14. That is 24. All right. Donezo. All right. Notice I got a 0 in the first blue area. Now I got to go after the 4. It's a bummer because there's a 0 there in the blue right there, but that's not what I'm working on. I'm working on the 4. So I'm going to multiply this by -4 and add it to that. All right, let's hope I don't make a mistake. -4 and 4 is 0. 8 and 0 is 8. -8 and -4 is -12. And 8 and 20 is 28. Ooh, that's getting big. But good news, 1, 0, 0. Right? Now the fun part, we're going to go after the next part of the yellow. So in the yellow region, that middle, right? This 6 right here, you're trouble. I need you to be a 1, right? So that's easy. I could divide everybody by 6. So if I divide by 6, I get 1. I get -2. And 6 goes into 24, I think 4 times. And there you have it. So it looks like that. Now, what? I want to get a 0 where the 8 is. So I got the 2 1s on the diagonal. That's so good. I can take care of that third one once I get this to become a 0. All right, so what am I going to do? I'm going to multiply this by -8, and I'm going to add it to the next row. So notice when you multiply by 0, it doesn't matter. Add 0, it doesn't matter. So that's why you want these zeros, right? Now I'm going to have -8 plus 8 is going to get me a 0 here. 16 minus 12 is going to get me a 4 here. 16 minus 12 is 4. Yep. And here, -32 and 28 is going to be -4. -32 and 28 is -4. Yes, just making sure. You guys aren't here to correct me. And so, bam, look at that. Now we got the blue part completely done, right? That's good news. This is finished. Right? And we almost have the yellow part done. We just have to take care of the 4. So what do? Divide everybody by 4. And you get 1 is equal to, or 1 and negative 1. Now, you heard me say equal to. Why? Because my brain is thinking matrices. That right there is already telling me that z is negative 1. And again, we are in now row echelon form. Why? Because everyone says you could solve it. They're like, hey, look, you know that z is negative 1. You know y minus 2z is 4, and you know what z is. So you should be able to figure out y. And once you figure out y, you go plug that back into the first equation. You know y, you know z. You should be able to figure out x. But we're going to keep going into reduced row echelon form. So let's keep going. Now you work your way above the yellow line into the green zone. So the first thing I'm going to go after is this guy right here, right? I'm going to go after the negative 2, but I'm going to start manipulating the one I know. I know this one, row 3. So I'm going to multiply it by a 2, and I'm going to add it up. So 2 minus 2 is 0, and negative 2 and 4 is 2, and I've just figured out that y is 2. Yes! Now you're like, whoa, that was crazy. All right, it's going to be a little harder to do for the top row. We got a substitute in there. So we're going to start with this one, and we're going to go after that guy. So he's got to be multiplied by negative 2. So again, I kind of skipped some stuff here, but 0 times negative 2 plus 1 is still 1. 0 times negative 2 minus 2 is still negative 2. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2 plus 2 is 0. And then last but not least, 2 minus 2. Is that 2? 2 minus 2 is 0. Ooh, that turned into a 0. Ooh. All right, not a big deal. Now you're like, oh my gosh, we're almost there. We just want this one out. You're right. That's the one I want out. So I'm going to use this row, the one that has a 1 in it and zeros everywhere else. I'm going to multiply him by 2 and add him to the row. So 0 times 0, 0. Okay, so 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. Beautificent. 0 times 2 plus 0, okay, and 4 times 2, or 2 times 2 is 4, plus 0 is 4, and there you have it. X is 4. So the answers were 4, 2, negative 1. Was that crazy that I did it all in the same matrix? That's how I did it back in my day. Instead of writing each one, I could be there, and it takes a lot of paper, and that's gross. You decide. And this is called reduced row echelon form. And see my video on the calculator method, and you can see how to do that. All right, have a great day. Stay happy.